Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And as you guys have probably noticed, the crypto space is in a really crazy period right now. Everybody is wondering, is the bull market back? Are we gonna see a heavy rejection? And what's all the controversy? What's going on in the crypto space right now? So in today's video, I'm gonna share with you guys what I think is going to happen to the Bitcoin and crypto prices next, while also giving you guys some insights as to what's going on in crypto today. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you press that like button as it is greatly appreciated. To give you guys some idea of what's going on with the Bitcoin price, I think we best take a look at the Bitcoin chart. One of the things that's become quite apparent over the last couple of days is that we are returning back to this end of October, beginning of November resistance levels. You can see right here, there's a couple of very important lines that we have put into this chart, and a couple of those stem all the way back from 2017. We have here our major top in 2017, our second major top in 2017-18. This was actually on January 1st, I believe, or in that week at least. Those we have indicated into the chart. And as you can clearly see, the white line is our previous top here on October 31st. The first blue line here is our major top, and the second blue line here is our second major top in 2017. Now, what can be easily seen right here is that indeed right now we are retesting these levels we have seen at the end of October, and we've actually formed some major bottoms at these previous resistance levels as well. Now, if we had to estimate what were to happen next, I think one of the best things to take a look at is, well, what can we trade with a very high probability of being correct? And one of those things is trading below the 200 weekly moving average, which is this yellow line right here. This is the 200 weekly moving average, together with a bottoming RSI. This is the indicator you can see at the bottom right here. Now, every one of these little orange circles, and this goes back for a pretty good while, has those two factors of returning back to the 200 weekly moving average for the Bitcoin price and oversold conditions, which is what the RSI showcases. And again, if you just scroll back for a pretty good while, you'll keep seeing that indeed this pattern does persist. I'm not sure exactly how many times I drew it into this chart specifically, but most likely if we were to take a look at this right here at the beginning of 2015, you'd see again an extremely low RSI and a price most likely below this 200 weekly moving average. And all I want to showcase with that is those have proven to be good buying opportunities. And right now we're in a period where we are still below this 200 weekly moving average. I believe for the longest time we've ever been below it. And for that reason alone, I think it's a good reason to still just accumulate more crypto. Again, the most important resistance to cross over is right here at about $21.3 thousand. And if we break through, the next target that's going to be hit, it's going to go pretty quickly most likely, is right here at the 200 weekly moving average at right around $24.5 thousand. And honestly guys, I think it's a very, very wise decision, even though it's not financial advice, to have some long positions open right now, as the probability of continuing on is a lot higher than falling down. Then again, I opened my long position a couple $1,000s lower already. But the moment that we break through 21.3 thousand, it's gonna probably be a pretty quick rush to 24.3. I don't think these smaller hurdles here are gonna be major roadblocks at, for example, the 22.1 or something like that $1,000, maybe around 22,000. But the moment that we break this moving average, if we get ourselves that confirmation, it most likely is gonna move pretty quickly. Call the Moon shared somebody else's analysis over on Twitter as well. And again, I'm not saying anything about Carl here. I'm talking about this analysis here. This is a logarithmic chart for Bitcoin. And again, it's not perfect, but if we take a look all the way from 2010 up till now, it's become quite apparent that indeed you have a potential bearish period before a longer bullish phase, before a bearish phase for 1/3 the duration of the bullish phase, and so forth and so on. Two caveats to this. First of all, this first year does not work because Bitcoin's price was still mostly being established, but I'd say that this was bullish territory, not bearish like they're trying to indicate. This little period right here was bearish. I think he just messed up with the chart here a little bit. I digress. It's also a little bit of a misconception that Bitcoin dies. We've seen articles every couple of years that Bitcoin is dying out, but really, if you look at it from a logarithmic perspective, Bitcoin really hasn't gone down that much. And this is what I expect Bitcoin's price to continue to do over the next couple of years. Just continue on with mad rushes, go down for a little bit, shake some people out, and then continue on. And that will also translate over into altcoins, I personally believe. Right now, however, we've been going down for roughly a year. There's been so much trouble over the last year, and it's really not too crazy to start picking it back up from here. That does not mean that we're gonna all of a sudden be at $69,000 again in a week or so. I'm just saying it would not be too crazy to start going back up from these levels, and that basically the bottom could be in. Now again guys, let me quickly say, if you're still looking for an exchange to trade crypto on, make sure you check out the links in the description down below. I personally use Bybit, I love it the most, and you have crazy bonuses on there. I believe right now it might even be upwards of $30,000 in bonuses. And what that basically means is if you deposit something, you might get a little trading bonus, which you can turn into actual dollars to use. Just check the link down below and go check it out. Go to the rewards tab somewhere on the website or somewhere in the app, and it'll speak for itself. But it's always worth it to use exchanges that give you bonuses. One thing I want you guys to quickly do here is take a little bit of a step back and understand over the next couple of years what things are going to be looking like. Right now, we're fighting an institutional battle. We're fighting a regulation battle with the SEC over in the US. But just know that many institutions are heavily scaling up their crypto operations. Crypto companies are kind of scaling down because bear market, we all know it, but the rest of the world mostly is starting to try and get themselves a foot in the door in the crypto space because even though some of them might not be convinced it's necessarily the future, they want to at least have the possibility to opt in, and for that they have to set the roads right now. There was a little bit of an interesting situation with Solana just now. The Solana Foundation warns about security incident with MailChimp. According to an email sent to users, an unauthorized actor accessed and exported certain user data from Solana Foundation's MailChimp instance, which sucks. Apparently, if you were subscribed to their newsletter, I guess, from MailChimp, based on the information we have received from MailChimp, the affected information may have included inter alia, email addresses, names, and Telegram usernames, in each case only to the extent users provided any such information. MailChimp advised that the incident did not affect passwords or credit card info, but that is pretty garbage. Now, talking about things that are garbage, crypto regulation in the US. Well, actually, something pretty good is happening. US lawmakers create Congress' first ever digital assets subcommittee. And I kind of wonder what this is going to be looking like over the next couple of weeks. Is this going to kind of scale through to potentially replace the SEC? Or is this more on a higher level that's going to instruct the SEC what to do? The U.S. Congress' first ever subcommittee on digital assets has been created as part of House Financial Services Committee. We want to create a regulatory legal framework for digital assets that makes America a leader from an innovation point of view, but also protect consumers and investors, explained Congressman French Hill, who will lead the digital asset subcommittee. Honestly, there's really not that much negative that can be said about that. Even though regulations right now are pretty garbage, they might update. They might want to get out of this trench that they're in and potentially over the next couple of months recoup a lot of these losses and do better. We've got a little update on Polygon. Polygon announces proposed hard fork to improve chain performance. Yeah, can't really say too much about that. That's just good. We also got 2 Ethereum forks happening, or we should just call it upgrades for simplicity here, throughout the next year. But this one is actually happening in a couple of days already on January 17th. So stay on the lookout for that. Nothing too harsh, nothing too crazy, just a little bit of some general improvement upgrades. There was a new report that just came out about the BIS. 3 approaches to cryptocurrency. If we check out their Twitter, it's already a couple of days ago, but the recent crypto market turmoil highlights the urgency of tackling the risks. There are different lines of policy action, including issuing central bank digital currencies to encourage sound innovation. And all they're basically saying is we can't leave this sector unregulated anymore. Especially after what happened to FTX, it's necessary we do something. And we have a couple of options: ban, contain, or regulate. And I'd say that containing and regulating are basically along the same lines, banning it obviously also being a form of regulation. But that's just something very interesting to see, that they are also pushing for some major decisions to be made right now. And that again showcases how early we are in the crypto space still, huh? However, FTX former US president, so basically the former president of the company FTX US, lashes out at insecure Sam Bankman-Fried in a 49-part Twitter thread rant. I don't want to go over this too much because it's kind of hard to read. We, at the end of the day, don't know how much at fault he was for some of the mismanagement or things. He's just basically trying to save his own ass by saying, hey, that guy was total insecurity and intransigence when his decisions were questioned. You know, he just got completely... He basically wanted to separate FTX US fully from from Sam Bankman-Fried and from FTX and the rest, but they didn't want to do that. So Sam Bankman-Fried and whatnot. We can't know if this is his actual thoughts and stance or if he's just saying this to showcase, hey, I was a good executive, you know, at FTX US, and Sam Bankman-Fried was the bad guy. So it has no purpose to read further into this. A little fun fact: El Salvador's Alejandra Guajardo walks Miss Universe stage in glowing Bitcoin suit. Yeah, that's it. That's the news. We all know that El Salvador is pretty interesting on the crypto space, and then it's pretty interesting as well to see her walk this suit. Not that deep though. And last but not least, some negative news for over in India. Honestly, I'm not so sure if this is old or new news. It says right here it was published on the 14th of January 2023, but when I look on the side, this news outlet might not be the most secure or latest. And I have not confirmed this on any other websites. I just saw the article and decided to share. Trading in crypto is just like... says the Reserve Bank of India governor. Like, let's just call this gaming. Yeah, it's pretty peculiar that some countries are so much against it. And I kind of wonder, is that because they don't want their people to make money? Is it because it's unethical? Why are they so against it? It kind of feels as if they're losing the control and they'd rather not. You can say, oh, but they just want to protect their users. Well, I don't think that's fully the case, because then history would showcase that if you want to be properly protected, diversify properly. And so having an allocation in the crypto space would not be that bad for nearly anybody. From that perspective, do the people really need protecting from something that might make them a lot of money? Yes, you can say indeed that it's somewhat close to gaming, but isn't all investing from that perspective then close to just gaming? Because you never know if something's going to pop off. In a certain sense, holding your money with a specific bank is always a little bit of a risk as well, because something could happen. I mean, we've seen it now with the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, and there's multiple other countries out there where something happens, boom, you want to try to run to your bank and they can't give you your cash. It's happened many times, and it will happen yet again and again and again. If you try right now to go to your bank and withdraw $1 million, or for fun fact, if you want to go and deposit $1 million, I'm going to say try it, but I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? Try? Okay, just think of a number. I'll just explain it to you. If you go to your bank right now with $1 million in cash, they'll look at you and they'll start to get really afraid. Unless you are in places like Dubai here, for example, I don't think they're going to be too difficult. But most places, like for example, if you go to New York, middle of the city, and you try to go walk into the bank with $1 million, they're going to start getting really afraid, because usually they don't really have that much cash in the bank itself for the people to easily get access to. And then they become a target. Vice versa, for getting your money out, then they have to open it up somewhere, grab all that money out. So if you want to withdraw $1 million, it's going to take a lot of time. And a lot of people have to be called for you to actually take this money out, which is partially to protect you, so you cannot really get shabammed that quickly by somebody just emptying your account under hostage situations or whatever. On the opposite side as well, so many loopholes if you just want to get some money to buy something. It's really interesting. But yeah, that was my take for today. Interesting news for sure. And we'll probably be back somewhere later today with another episode. And I'm going to try use that camera more. I've had it laying around for so long, but I'm not really that good with cameras. I just think it's worth it to figure out exactly how this works and get better quality for you guys. So that is coming up as well. And that was it for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. See you guys later in another one.